Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Divine Shadow here. It's been quite a while, guys. I haven't seen you in a minute. Today we're going to be going over my modern deck that I've been playing for a while. I've recently stopped playing a lot of paper Magic and have dropped out of modern for the moment, but I still play this deck online. And this is basically just your average Delver list with Jeskai colors. So let's get onto the list. I'll start off with the instance, because whatever. One Dispel. I'm not big on using multiple of these in the main board, or even many of these at all. Counters an instant. It's pretty good, but it just doesn't do what we want it to do. Two Electrolyze. It's useful to pop tokens. It trades itself to draw you a card, and it can just get rid of some annoying things that can be in my way when I'm trying to get that damage through. Or I can just zap someone for 2. 4 lightning bolts, because we're just trying to get direct damage to the face. We're just trying to get in there and kill them as fast as we can. And Bolt is the best card in all of Modern. 4 lightning Helix, slightly more expensive lightning bolt that gains me life. Sometimes we use it to hit the opponent directly to the face, but most of the time it's just removal. Same thing can be really said for lightning bolt. We don't give a damn. We're just trying to get through with the damage with our creatures, but sometimes we can just hit them to the face. 4 mana leak. This is a bit excessive. I know. I'm really unsure if I like 4. I think 3 might be better, but I'm still testing out with 4, and it's okay right now. Maybe it'll change later on, but it's a really strong card early and mid-game. It just gets worse the longer the game progresses, so we try to close it out before this card becomes absolutely useless. 2 Path to Exile. I'm thinking of tossing the 3rd one and replacing a mana leak for it, but I'm just not too sure. We have a lot of removal as is, and it's already really strong. But Path is an insane card, even if it can give our opponent a land. It gets rid of huge threats like a Tarmogoyf or a Monastery Mentor. So yeah, it's a really powerful card that gets rid of annoying things that the opponents have that can try and outrace us. 3 Remand. Remand is an insanely powerful card. Counter a spell, put it back to your opponent's hand, then you draw a card. So it's not really that hard of a counter spell, but it stalls you out while you keep digging for what you need. And the fact that it replaces itself is just good. You just don't want to use anything in a deck like this and not have any sort of value out of it, because it can just not get you to where you need to be. 1 Spell Snare. There's a lot of good 2-drops in Modern. Tarmogoyf, Dark Confidant, Young Pyromancer, etc. It's a decent one of. I don't like using more than 1 Spell Snare, both in the main and the side. It just doesn't. I don't feel that it's that powerful, but it's a really good card regardless, so it's a decent one of. Onto the creatures, I'm running 4 Delver. Obvious, this card is perfect for this type of deck. Gets in for that damage. Rarely doesn't flip, but it just gets in and beats for 3 as fast as it can. Monastery Mentor. Makes dudes when I cast non-creature spells, and those dudes have prowess, and he has prowess. So this guy is essentially an extremely powerful beat stick that makes dudes who also become beat sticks. Plus, I love his flavor text. It really adds to this card. Speak little, do much. That's exactly what this motherfucker does. 4 Snapcaster Mage. an essential card to this deck, in my opinion. Snapcaster Mage can be a really aggressive card. It flashes back our bolts, it flashes back our lightning helixes, flashes back all our stuff. It hits our opponents out of nowhere, and it's just a card that you definitely want to play if you're playing blue, and you can afford them. 3 Young Pyromancers. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, make a dude. He can get out of control really quickly. And he's a 2/1, so he can swing him for a little bit of damage himself when he needs to. So, pretty good card. We're running 19 lands, 4 Flooded Strands, 2 Hollowed Fountains, 2 basic islands, 1 basic mountain, 2 basic plains, 4 Scalding Tarn, 3 Steam Vents, and 1 Sulphur Falls. Our sorceries are 3 Gataxian Probe, because a card like this is extremely valuable in this kind of a deck. It helps us plan 1, 2, 3, 4 turns ahead. It gives us the information at that time, so we know what we have to play around, what we have to bait out. And it also replaces itself, drawing a card, and you can pay 2 life instead of 2 mana. Probe is just a really strong card that I feel is undervalued a lot of the time. It's definitely a card that really helps this deck out a lot. Serum Visions, draw a card, scry 2. Like I said, drawing cards, really powerful. Scry 2, give us information on what we can possibly draw into next. Toss away all the garbage to the bottom, or if it's just not useful at that time, toss it to the bottom, and hopefully find a way to dig ourselves farther down our library to find what we need. And that's the main board. Onto the sideboard, I run 1 Anger of the Gods. This is for it's for token matchups, it's for aggro. Just a card that just gets the damage done. Exile stuff hurts us a bit at times, but when we play the aggro matchup, we usually try to outrace them. This is just that last resort thing that you really need if they go off. And if it's a token matchup, then it just kind of fucks them up big time, getting rid of all their stuff. We run 2 Blood Moons because we can really benefit off just having mountains a lot more than our opponents could. I board this in against a lot of 3-color decks. A lot of things that just cannot go off. Blood Moon completely shuts down a lot of Tron builds. Green-Red Tron has a bit of a chance with this. It shuts down... it doesn't really shut down the aggro deck, but it really can hurt them if they get fucked over and they don't draw any basics. Blood Moon's an insanely powerful card. It's amazing that this card used to be absolute junk. I run 2 Crumble to Dust. This is for Merfolk, this is for Tron, and this is for Eldrazi. I rarely get the Crumble to Dust against the Eldrazi because they kind of outrace me 99.9% of the time. But a Crumble to Dust can really slow down the Tron player, really just fuck with them before they can really get to where they want to be, if they don't get the nut draw. It's not the best against the Eldrazi, but we try to get there. Another Dispel. Flash Freeze. Put it in against the aggro matchup, against the Boggle matchup. And... I'm trying to think what else this is for. Jund? Yeah, Jund. Couldn't remember what the name of the damn color combination was for a second. 1 Core Firewalker. Probably want to bump this up to 2. Not sure what I'd replace it for. This card against the aggro deck really hurts them big time because it just gives us life and they're just trying to burn us to death and beat our face in. As long as we can keep gaining life, we can't die. 2 muddling mages, pretty good against the Tron matchup. I haven't really used it against the Eldrazi's, but I'm sure if it gets down in time, it could be very devastating to them. Meddling Mage, I haven't figured out this card's full potential in the sideboard yet. It's only come out for Tron matchups a lot of the time. One more path for the heavy creature matches. Just gotta keep getting their stuff off board. Surgical extraction. Side this in when you play against Tron. Side it in against basically any deck that can really benefit off an exact card. Just get it into the grave as quickly as you possibly can, and then surgical extract their shit away. A fun thing is when you get to Snapcaster Mage Surgical Extraction to get rid of another key thing in someone's deck. Volcanic Fallout, again for the aggro matchup and token matchup. Volcanic Fallout is also an insanely good card against Merfolk if they don't have a lot of pumped up Merfolk dudes, because their counter spells, their curse snatchers, etc., they're just basically a useless thing against the Volcanic Fallout because it cannot be countered. It's an instant speed, so you really catch them out of nowhere as they're trying to do something. And lastly, 2 Wear and Tear. Pretty good against the Affinity matchup. Pretty good against Tron. Well, some versions of Tron anyways. It's done some work for me before. I have yet to see the full potential in the Wear and Tear, but I definitely know it can be really good. With ensnaring bridges and other things floating around, I think this card will be good against those. The Tear I don't use as often, but sometimes it comes in handy. It's a really weird one sometimes. The Wear is what we try to make use of, but Tear can also be really good. So anyways, guys, that's my deck. Tell me what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.